Looking for reliable forex analysis? Check out ForexScope for daily forecasts and insights to help you trade smarter. Link in the description and comments.
A significant geopolitical and economic drama involving a Chinese-owned semiconductor firm in the Netherlands, which threatened to bring the global automotive industry to a standstill, has been described as a stark wake-up call for Europe and the West. The minister at the center of this prolonged dispute, Vincent Kermans, articulated this sentiment, emphasizing the critical lessons learned regarding reliance on China. This 6-week standoff, which pitted the European Union against Beijing over the operations of Nexperia and its crucial supply of automotive semiconductors, has served as a sobering revelation for world leaders about their deep-seated dependence on the Asian powerhouse. Kermans, the Dutch Minister for Economic Affairs, has unequivocally stated his lack of regret regarding the firm handling of the situation, asserting that even with the benefit of hindsight, his actions would remain unchanged. He acknowledged the intense global interest in the unfolding events, likening the affair to an economic thriller that captivated international attention. Delving into the intricate details of how this trade war played out for the first time, Kermans recounted high-level discussions with his German counterpart, key figures within the automotive sector, and representatives from the United States. These were complemented by insights derived from critical intelligence sources, which, according to his claims, indicated that Nexperia was in the process of relocating parts of its physical operational facilities from Hamburg, Germany, to China. The dispute formally commenced on September 30th when the Dutch government asserted supervisory control over Nexperia, citing potential risks to European economic security. This decisive action, invoking a seldom-used piece of Cold War-era legislation, was reportedly authorized 2 days prior at the highest echelons of the Dutch administration. Following thorough legal scrutiny, Kermans was keen to dispel any notion that the Dutch intervention was directly influenced or coerced by a simultaneous move from the United States on September 29, which placed Nexperia on a list of entities subject to import controls. He emphatically stated that the Dutch government acted autonomously, without any form of external pressure or persuasion from their American allies. The American action, he explained, was primarily to ensure Nexperia was included on their list amid a looming government shutdown. The Dutch government's intervention immediately provoked a fierce backlash from Beijing. For a period of 4 days, China imposed a ban on the export of Nexperia chips, the majority of which are finished products. This retaliatory measure sent shockwaves through the supply chains of global automakers, leading to production halts in Mexico and dire warnings from European manufacturers that they were mere days away from complete stoppages. The crisis, however, appeared to de-escalate following an agreement reached between former U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping in South Korea late last month, which paved the way for Beijing to resume chip supplies to Europe. Kermans expressed gratitude for the steps taken by Chinese authorities to resolve the immediate supply issue, acknowledging that a short-term solution had been found. Nevertheless, he reiterated his firm stance. "If I had been in the same position, with the knowledge I know now, I would have done the same thing again." Nexperia, a company with historical roots in the Philips Electronics Group, was acquired by China's Wingtech in 2018. Concerns regarding its future export capabilities to the United States surfaced in 2023 when the U.S. government alerted the Dutch authorities to its consideration of placing Wingtech on an affiliate list. This list comprised companies deemed potential threats to national security. Kermans highlighted the immense potential restrictions that such a designation could entail, emphasizing that it was in the Netherlands' best interests to collaborate with both the American and Chinese governments, as well as Nexperia's Chinese shareholder, to devise a mutually agreeable solution. Subsequently, the Dutch government initiated a dialogue with Zhang Shuizheng, the founder of Wingtech and the chief executive of Nexperia in the Netherlands. The primary objective of this engagement was to guarantee the company's operational independence. Key demands included the establishment of an independent supervisory board and the stipulation that Zhang would no longer concurrently hold the positions of CEO and head of human resources. Kermans recalled a meeting with Mr. Zhang at the ministry during the summer, which was among his earliest engagements as Minister for Economic Affairs. At the time, Zhang had reportedly expressed strong alignment with the proposed measures. the Dutch government had outlined a series of actions to be implemented, with the intention of presenting them to the Americans to affirm Nexperia's status as a Dutch entity. However, the situation took a dramatic and unexpected turn in September. Sources within Chairman's office alerted him to concerning activities involving Zhang. These individuals reported that Zhang was engaged in the transfer of intellectual property rights, the dismissal of employees, and preparations to relocate production facilities from Hamburg to China. When questioned about the identity of these informants, Chairman's maintained confidentiality but asserted the existence of physical evidence confirming these relocation plans. He articulated a critical concern. If Wingtech were to move its semiconductor wafer production to China, the existing interdependence between Europe and China would transform into a complete and potentially perilous dependency for Europe. Following the escalation of the situation with the Chinese authorities in the wake of the Nexperia intervention, Chairman's engaged in discussions with Katharina Reich, Germany's Minister for Economic Affairs. Reich reportedly expressed her support for the Dutch government's actions and shared significant concerns regarding the implications for the automotive industry. Leaders across the European Union, the United States, China, France, and other nations were kept abreast of the developments. Chairman's emphasized that the initial intention was not to publicize the dispute, but rather to resolve it swiftly and discreetly. Beijing's decision to resume chip supplies over the weekend followed the U.S. government's decision to temporarily suspend sanctions against companies on its affiliate list. However, the Dutch government has yet to formally reverse its intervention concerning Nexperia. Chairman's indicated that no definitive steps would be taken until the initial shipments of chips successfully reached European shores. The Dutch government is maintaining direct communication with the German automotive industry and other car manufacturers and clients of Nexperia. These stakeholders will be responsible for notifying the authorities once chip deliveries are confirmed. Chairman stressed that only once the supply chain has demonstrably resumed and confidence in its continued stability is established will the Dutch government proceed with the necessary measures to formally resolve the issue. Chairman's expressed hope that this entire episode would serve as a crucial wake-up call concerning the inherent dangers of over-reliance on a single country for essential technological components or raw materials. Despite his VVD party finishing third in the recent general election, Chairman's is slated to continue as economy minister until the formation of a new government, a process that could extend for up to a year. In response to the allegations of planning to move its physical production lines from Hamburg to China, Wingtech stated that it was actively proceeding with an investment rollout in Germany, creating 150 new jobs, including 100 in research and development and 50 in production. A spokesperson for the company indicated that the planned $200 million investment for the Hamburg wafer fabrication facility, announced for 2024, was progressing steadily. However, they noted that the expansion of their operational team, which was anticipated as the new production lines began to ramp up, had been sidelined due to the Dutch government's intervention.